Please allow me to introduce, okay, forget that part. Just welcome to 1858 here at Look TV, just a regular day here at Look TV in 1858. There's a reason for this, outside of all what I just did. A good friend of mine, Hollis Palmer, who's an author and historian, and Sandra Graff, who is a seamstress, are here to talk about what happened in 1858 and a very interesting thing that they do in our community called the Derby Tour. So, welcome.
Thank you.
So, did you know who I was referring to when I said, please allow me to introduce myself?
No.
No. Ah, come on. Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
I think that was probably a little past 1858,
Yeah,
but not by much.
Yeah. Right.
So, Hollis, you and I first met 12 years ago.
Yes.
In Glens Falls, because you had written about a story about somebody had murdered somebody and ran through Glen Street, and
Yep.
you know.
Murder actually happened on Glens Falls, and it was a barber. And the name of the stub story in a book was Too Many Barbers, because everybody was a barber in the story. Everybody involved.
Gotcha. You've recently, you're quite prolific. At last count, I think I was at like 12 books that you've written, but you recently just completed a novel.
Yes. My 12th book comes out Wednesday.
Okay.
It's called Saratoga 1858, a novel of sorts.
Okay.
Okay, because maybe there's a little bit of real stories behind some of the stories that appear fictionally in the book. Okay.
We usually we call that artistic license, right?
Well, I'll take that title.
Yeah, that's right. What's the text of the story? 1858 is a very interesting time in American history, right?
Yes.
It was, slavery was still there, but they were free.
Well, what happened was the Dred Scott decision happened the year before.
Right.
And as a result of that, you could bring your slaves north, and they had to go back with you, because Dred Scott said you could take your slaves anywhere. Okay, so in Saratoga, you would have brought, only ones you would have brought up would have been your family servants. Okay, because people brought their servants with them when they came to Saratoga. And in the book, that's what one of the families does. Actually, a couple of families do. And we follow their relationships, the slaves' relationship, with free blacks who are working here in Saratoga, along with other sub-stories that are in the book. Okay?
Boy, I got it. A lot of character?
Yes, I have to be fair. There are a lot of characters, some of which are based on real people from Saratoga, Morrissey, the Marvin family, the Bachelors, okay, naturally, because I did a book on the Bachelors, couldn't leave them out. But some are just totally made-up families and people that are made up because I needed them to fill certain roles.
I think somewhere in our past, together, we shot at the Bachelor Mansion together. You were there, dressed as you are today, you know, in the Victorian era period dress, right? It was wonderful that we, on the screen there, when we put your name up, seamstress.
Yes.
So tell me a bit about your interest in history and especially your interest in being a seamstress.
Well, I've always loved to sew. I learned at around 8 years old to make Barbie doll clothes, and since then I've been sewing all my life. And what I really like about the Victorian era is the clothing. I think it's just beautiful. I mean, the garments are wonderful. And so I was able to combine two different loves at the same time. And that's really why I like the Victorian era. I like the Edwardian era. They're both at the same time period. So.
Well, you must have been a fan of Downton Abbey,
Oh,
a little
yes.
past
Yes.
the era we're talking about here, but again, just so meticulous, you know, in the way they approached dressing all of the characters in that series. Wasn't it amazing?
It was.
So, concerning the dress you have on now, very typical of the era, right? A lot of layers.
Yes.
Cameo, that was always a feature, right? But I did notice something down at the bottom. Is there a reason that they put this on?
This is called flounce, and sometimes it was called ribbon. And what the ladies of the Victorian era would do would be to always have flounce on the bottom of their skirt. That way, as you're walking along on the sidewalks, on the cobblestones, and the base of your skirt gets damaged, you don't have to discard the entire garment. All you do is you remove the flounce and replace it. And that meant your main dress would last go on and on and on, and you didn't have to throw it away.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I can see your petticoat here.
Oh,
Be
yes.
careful, girl. Okay.
One of the things that I really like when we're doing tours is when we have kids in the audience. One time I was wearing a bustle that I had handmade, and a little girl came up to me and asked if she could feel it. So you know, the kids are engaged with the clothing also.
That's
so I really like that.
Now, the two of you are responsible for little company called Derby Tours. I love the name, by the way.
Well, that's because I wear a derby when I do those.
Oh, I know. I've seen you. Tell us a bit about Derby Tours.
Derby tours kind of happened because I'm a historian, and my history is of people. I don't know architecture, and one time I was asked to do a tour because they had many buses coming to town, and so I started telling the story of the families who built the houses, not the architecture, but the families, which are all scandals, because my research is old newspapers. How do you get your name in a newspaper now? Do something wrong? Back then it was the same thing. Right. So I started telling these stories, and there's some real twisted tales, and I realized people liked it. And we do nationally. We do about 50 buses a year, but we're going to do some walking tours this year. Okay, the first one's coming up each of the holiday weekends through the summer, from Memorial Day through Columbus Day. On Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, we're doing a walk up North Broadway, telling the story of each of the houses up there. 100% of the money goes to charity. We don't get a penny. Okay, the first one, because Memorial Day weekend, is Adopt a Soldier in Glens Falls. Seems like a practical solution, but each one's for a different charity.
I've got it. Let me ask you a question then.
Yep.
And I'll cycle back on one thing. I've known Hollis 12 years now, I think, and his interest in people and the stories and developing the characters. That's why I said the thing about the characters. The way you weave them. I've read some of your books, and I just love the fact that you're interested in them as human beings and what was driving them. I've got a favorite house up on North Broadway, Redstone Villa.
Okay.
Which I think it's the last major mansion
it's
on the
last
left-hand
house on the left-hand
side
side before
Skidmore
yes.
College. Just quickly, any story about Redstone?
Yes, Redstone Villa, the guy who had it inherited his father's money in the 1870s, and within 5 years lost it. Okay, there was a stock market crash in '73, lost all his money, went out to Minnesota, and eventually wound up in timber industry and then manufacturing the couplings that hold trains together. I didn't say he invented it. He manufactured them. He made so much money, but back here everybody knew him as a loser. So he couldn't have that go. And of course his name was DeWitt Clinton, so he had to come back and show everybody he had made his money back. So he built that as his summer cottage. I mean, some of us have better summer homes than others, okay?
Yeah, you could say. Actually, I know the people that live in there now. They're a wonderful couple with two beautiful children.
Yes, and they did a beautiful job putting that new carriage house on. They built a carriage house that looked like it was built originally with a house. They did a fantastic job.
I know.
All
right, so these Derby tours, by the way, and all the money goes to charity. So try to make a mental note of this. We have Memorial Day coming up here. It's the Saturday of each one of those weekends, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so the Saturday for Memorial Day, for 4th of July, for Labor Day, and for Columbus Day.
Yep.
And having been on the tour myself, it's just wonderful. And both of you are so engaging with people. You talk to everybody, and you know, before you know it, you think you're back there. Should I put this on again?
Go ahead.
That's right.
You look better with it.
And also, I just want to help with the book. The book is available in Saratoga, right?
Right, yes it is, and
Okay.
on Amazon.
Amazon, right.
Yep, and you get a Crafters Gallery starting Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay, and that day, if you come, we throw in the Saratoga's Great Ladies as a gift.
I love the Great Ladies because that's all about the homes.
That's right.
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
Okay.
That's one of my
They get that one as a bonus.
Gotcha, okay. Saratoga, 1858. Well, I guess it says it all in the title, right? Well, Sandra, thank you very much for coming in. Hollis, great to see you again.
Thank you.
And if you see this guy on the tour with this top hat in the back there singing Rolling Stone songs, you'll know who we're talking about.
Oh, very good, okay. Very good. Look forward to seeing you then.
Great to see you. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.